ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reboot Roundtable. It has been a hot minute. But as always, I am joined by Jay.
Yo, what's up, guys? J Bell here.
And Cove.
Hi.
Well, other than being in the primordial void in which we return whenever we're not recording, how are you two?
It's so funny. Cope will say something, and then 5 seconds later, I'll hear it. Anyways,
This is true.
I was doing great until I got here. Now I'm here. So.
Have you been enjoying the back rooms where you are clearly located currently?
Yeah, it's been a great time, actually. You'd be surprised. I'm homies with nobody.
Wait,
That doesn't surprise anybody.
yeah, no, that's
Hey,
true.
why don't you shut up?
And Cove, how are you?
Wow. I'm chilling.
That's good. That's good.
My AC works.
Yeah, unlike some
It's hot
people,
outside.
me, my office is 80 degrees. If y'all see me full just drenched in sweat, it's not because I'm fat. That's a separate issue.
Because of what we'll show on the Patreon.
No,
Yeah, actually.
no, we don't have a Patreon yet.
If you want
We
the
could.
lore.
We could.
the
No
Patreon.
one
Yeah.
would subscribe, unfortunately. But
I'd subscribe.
yeah,
Just so I can see
as
it
soon
again.
as we start getting
We all know
sponsors,
you would.
we'll get a Patreon. But anyways, rambles aside, today we're talking about our namesake. Today we're talking about reboots. When should they reboot? When should remakes be made? Good, bads, and uglies. And what inspired this conversation was, I know one of us, that's not me, watched the How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake. And Jay, it was you who saw it, correct?
Yes, I watched the How to Train Your Dragon remake, and can I just say, initial thoughts are, it was pretty good. It was pretty darn good. I won't say the casting was perfect, but the show itself was pretty good. Or the movie itself was pretty good.
And Cove, I assume you haven't seen it?
No.
Okay.
No, I have not seen it myself.
All right. So, yeah, Jay saw live action. Actually, that actually leads to a fun question. What of the live action remakes have each of you seen? If any.
I
Lion
literally
King.
just
Beyond
watched the remake of Snow White and Lion King. Snow White just
Snow White.
released the remake too.
Yeah, the live action Snow White movie. Full of controversy.
That thing sucked.
There was the Lion
It
King
was awful.
live
Everyone's seen
action
the Lion King.
remake.
Everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
I actually didn't watch it. I thought it looked bad.
What are you
and I
doing
didn't
here?
watch it.
Go watch it.
What?
No, I've seen like the original
It's
Lion
really
King. I haven't seen the
Beyonce.
live action remake.
Why is Beyonce in there?
Because it's Beyonce.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's right.
And she's singing
Rihanna's like the
Alexa.
main voice actor for the new Smurfs movie, and I think that makes me violently upset.
Why?
Why is Rihanna voice acting?
That's fair.
Because it's Rihanna.
Well, I guess
That doesn't help your case.
we can kind of start with it. I guess
Yes, it does.
if we're talking reboots, I guess it is best to start with live action reboots and remakes. What are your all's gut reaction when you see a live action reboot or a remake made?
Not to watch it, honestly, sometimes.
Jay, you had this look like you had a comment you wanted to share with the class.
On the Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Jay, we don't have a
No,
Patreon.
I'm not a big fan of live action remakes of shows, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of remakes in general, to be fair. So
So let's just beyond the live action. Where do we all stand with remakes and reboots? Jay is not a big fan of them in general. Cove, where do you stand on them?
I think that if when it was made and if it could be rebooted into more of like modern video, you should do it. Like there's some examples with Disney where they've redone it and they've redone it kind of well, where they've amended them being, racist,
Right.
whatever that was acceptable at the time. They tend to remake those. I think those are pretty good because it just makes the story a little
Right.
more
Palatable.
less scummy.
Yeah.
Exactly. More to the taste.
And for me,
Beyond that, I don't really see the reason.
yeah, that's really fair. I am all for reimaginings. I am completely against shot-for-shot remakes. And I think if you're going to modernize it, you could almost arguably remaster them, kind of like you do a video game, and just update the animation before bringing it to live action when nobody asked for it. Yeah. But that being said, I think we should use this episode to talk about some of our favorite terrible remakes and some of our favorite good ones, both reboots and remakes, of course. So I guess do we want to start with the terrible or the good? Which one should we get out of the way first?
I have in my head the good real quick.
Okay, Jay, what do you got for your good one? What is your favorite?
The How to Train Your Dragon remake was actually really good.
Interesting.
It was really good.
I
think some of the casting wasn't amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, the acting was great. The Hiccup actor, I mean, that was just Hiccup. Like, actually, that
Okay.
was him. I think my little brother, actually, because I watched it with my little brother as well, he sat there and was like, yeah, I don't like the twins. They kind of messed up the casting there a little bit.
Yeah, I saw the twins
But
don't look like twins.
they're not.
Twins?
No.
Oh, that's
You'll have to look it
that's
up
a
later.
yikes.
Yeah, but the dragons, really well made. They fit into the scene. Good compositing. Stoic was awesome, as he always is. Listen, I watched a grown man box of dragon with his hands. He just straight hands to metal. So it was going to be a good movie after that.
I believe it is Gerard Butler who plays Stoic. I think
that is a basketball player.
No. Yeah, Gerard Butler was the actor who plays Stoic both in the live action and the animation.
Oh yeah,
he actually got the same.
Also a basketball player.
Wild comms. Dude's 55. I didn't realize that. Yeah, Cove, do you have a particular reboot remake? It doesn't have to be a live action remake, but just something being redone that you enjoy.
I like The Lion King. You've never seen it, Connor, but The Lion King remake was really good.
Interesting.
Watching live-ish, like more realistic animals talk's always a very interesting experience.
Yes.
I liked what they did when they remastered the songs.
Okay, that's fair.
They kept the essence of like the movie kind of close to cuff, but the music was done very nicely. I enjoyed it.
For sure. I think that is the one good thing that has come from the Disney live action remakes is there are some great versions of these classic Disney songs sung by people you don't expect. Like as much as I still prefer the Robin Williams version of what is the song? The Genie
Arabian
sings
Nights?
it. No.
Is this not,
No.
Is it Prince Ali? Or
Friend Like Me. Friend Like Me. As much as I prefer Robin Williams' Friend Like Me, I do think the Prince Ali with Will Smith is really good. I don't think he does great with Friend with Me, but good. His Prince Ali is really fun.
Will Smith was a weird choice to be.
Odd choice. I think it worked because I don't think you could ever. Because I think the big thing with remakes and like, especially the bringing animation to live action, is you should do something different. I'm a strong believer that the shot for shot stuff is super boring. We've already seen this movie. Give me something new. Bring me something new to the table.
That's what I don't like about remakes personally is they generally if I'm going to be getting back into a universe, I want that universe to give me something new. You know, I don't want to just go back through what I just watched. Like the How to Train Your Dragon movie, really good, but it's really good because How to Train Your Dragon was really good.
Yeah.
Like it leaves you wanting a little bit. It leaves you wanting. It's like I want something new from this universe that I enjoy.
Well, and the thing is like How to Train Your Dragon is a world that I think has a lot of room you could explore if you wanted to. So it is kind of sad we didn't get like a spinoff or even a prequel. I mean, I'd be curious to see like Hiccup's mom, like how did she first interact with dragons? Like what led her to being able to befriend them? Like there are stories in that world you could tell.
When she, correct me if I'm wrong, when she just like captured and she just kind of started petting him?
Yeah, that's what is implied in the second movie, but you could expand that. You could go into it more.
She's like one of those, like I see people say this sometimes, they're like, oh, animals, they always love me. And they'll like walk up to bears and get mauled and eaten. And it just, you know, she was like the idealized version of them getting mauled and eaten. She just didn't end up.
The really fun thing about the How to Train Your Dragon universe too, just complete side note, if you ever just dive into the dragon lore, absolutely insane. Every one of the dragons has some crazy lore added onto them, and they're really fun to just dive into.
Really?
If you ever get bored. Yeah, like there's a lot of really obscure dragons that are just really neat. that are in like the shows, or some of them are only mentioned in like shorts, and all of them are wild. It's worth like doing some research on them because there's some
Or the
really
novel.
cool designs.
A
Yes, How to Train Your
novel?
Dragon was originally based on a book.
Oh,
Book
neat.
is completely different than the movie, and the book is kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie, but
Hey, bud. Let's keep our opinions to ourselves
Dang.
here.
besides the point.
Dang. Shots
Um,
fired.
Astrid is actually a movie original character. Fun fact, was not in the book.
Really?
Mhm.
Makes sense. She was actually pretty good.
Anyways, so with outside of How to Train Your Dragon, um, honestly, I'll be honest, I haven't really enjoyed any of the shot-for-shot remakes. That being said, as bad as it was, and objectively it was really bad, there were some really good scenes in the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. Good scenes, bad remake.
Okay. As long as you're willing to emphasize the bad remake part.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and I think it was a thing is
It was
that show
terrible.
should not have been remade. But there's specifically, we get a scene of Lu Ten's funeral. Heartbreaking scene. Getting to see Zuko at like Lu Ten's funeral, it's really a really well written scene. The bending and the action scenes in it looked spectacular. I'll say that. The fight choreography, excellent. But it comes to the point, Avatar is something where just give us more in the universe. That being said, I do think the exception to that is stories that started in a different medium originally, like comic books. Like, I think this new Superman movie, excellent looking, looks superb. Comes out in like a couple weeks, and I'm hyped.
Oh, I'm
so
hyped.
excited.
Yeah.
I would love for us to talk about it, honestly, if it is as good as I think it's going to be.
I plan to go watch it.
Yeah.
It looks like it'll be pretty good.
And obviously,
I'll
every
probably
version of
watch it in
Spider-Man's
theaters.
pretty good. You mean like the thing is you can do that, but those characters are book/comic book characters originally.
Yeah, bringing comics or books over to live action isn't exactly what I'm talking about. That's just like a
For sure.
reinterpretation.
Exactly.
Like Harry Potter. I wouldn't call the Harry Potter movies a remaster.
Yes.
That's just like a storytelling almost.
It's an adaptation.
Yeah. Adaptation. Yeah.
And
It
I
is.
think with the Harry Potter show, I think if they try to adapt the source material, could be interesting. But if they genuinely are just trying to remake the movies, isn't going to be good.
Yeah. That brings up the question then, what is the main difference between turning a animated show live action, animated movie live action versus like a comic book or a book? What is the big differences here?
Cove, what's your thoughts? Yeah, I want to put you on
One
the
has a
spot.
lot more of okay, it's easy. One has more of a loose interpretation to it, and one's very more like bar for bar. If something has an animated counterpart to it and you're bringing it into live action, people already have a medium that they can see that they can compare it to. When you have a book, you have just words on a page, so that can be left up to like thought. So when it's slightly off, people are more accepting towards that. When there's a one-to-one, people are more critical.
Well, and it's a thing of they're both movies, whereas a book to a
Oh, yeah.
movie is a completely different art form. Whereas animated movie to live action movie, they're both movies. And by that same line, I don't think you should create animated shot for shot remakes of live action movies that are really good. Like, I don't think Die Hard would work if you changed it to a like Disney
Die Hard would work in
animated
any
film.
medium. First off, Die
I
Hard
would
would
still
work in
watch
any
it.
medium.
I would
No,
still
I would watch it, and I think that's the same mindset with live action, where I'll still watch it. It's not good, but I'll watch it because it's
I mean,
neat.
no, it's not good.
I will say real quick, I think Cove actually hit on it really well. I want to bounce back to that a little
Yeah,
bit
go for it.
with where you talked about the interpretation side of it. And I think that ultimately it kind of comes down to how these live actions are received. It's much harder or it's much easier to get a quote like right casting for a book or a comic book, right? You take books. Harry Potter, you could have cast almost anybody as those characters.
Yeah.
And as long as they looked somewhat like they were described, you're good. But when you deal with something like, let's say, Invincible, you know, if they were going to make Invincible live action, just out in the wind, you already know what Mark looks like. You know what all of these characters looks like. There's a truck pulling up to my house. And the thing is like, you already know what the characters look like. You can see them, you can perceive them. And it's different than comic books. Because in comics, it's still, like, switched around. But even then, you can see it, like, the comic book castings, people will get upset over those because they look nothing alike sometimes.
Yeah.
When you can actually
Yeah.
see it, it's not up to interpretation anymore. You have to get close. And I think that was a good pull, because I think that really comes down to why a lot of people dislike a lot of these live action. It isn't even for the content or that they're doing it. It's because it doesn't
It
fit
doesn't
what
meet
they saw in their head.
expectation.
Yeah,
Yep, it doesn't meet expectation, and they're not gonna like it.
And
just like
along that
these are not
line,
hitting my expectation.
are those height
Oh my
growth
god.
gummies?
Yeah, my mom
Yeah,
had brought them to me with a big
there's
smile on her
making
face.
color.
They don't work.
You can just
But they
use
taste good.
Miracle Grow. It's cheaper.
No, I already tried.
Oh my
It's gonna
god.
be sick.
Don't eat
Pour
it.
into your water
You gotta
with,
sprinkle it on your bed before you go to sleep at night.
You can sprinkle on that bald head of yours.
But so I think one of the things too is it
All
doesn't
day fashionable.
like I think people do put an extreme emphasis on the visual elements of a story, but I think it's fine to change the visual storytelling. I mean, reinterpretations do that all. He's gone.
I'm sorry.
He's chasing after a rubber band.
Reinterpretations do that all the time, but you do get examples from like the Lilo and Stitch movie that came out recently, where they like the scene everybody's talking about is where she takes a picture of the sunburnt tourist, and they change that to a Hawaiian man, which completely reframes that scene, which was originally kind of a Lilo rebelling against tourism into just her
Yeah,
taking a
it was a
picture of a
snub.
guy. Yeah. And it's like that's
Yeah.
an issue where in a lot of ways these remakes or readaptations, and actually I think RoboCop, which I have not seen but I've heard people talk about, its reboot they did, lost a lot of the political bite the original one had.
Oh, gross. They made it softer.
Yes, and we do see that with a lot of these remakes. Because yes, in some ways they can remove problematic elements, but in other ways they will remove things that weren't problematic but don't fit their new current platform.
Funny enough, kind of along those lines, this is going to sound ridiculous. It's going to sound
brands.
like ridiculous.
Oh
Cool.
boy.
Kind of along those lines, how much do you all know about Godzilla?
Actually, more than I
Uh,
used to. I've learned a lot.
Good. Cove?
I watched the movies, and yeah,
So you're useless.
monster,
That's
monster.
No, so
Monster.
Not
I
that
know
you're
it's
loose
kinda
useless
monster.
is crazy.
so I just want to let that one sit for a second so everybody knows.
No, that's
Anyways,
fair. That's fair.
So the original point behind Godzilla, as I'm sure you all know, was kind of like a sort of fear of the atomic age. You know, the bombs were just dropped. People were like, "Oh my gosh," which is
I have a
roughly
little kaiju right here. Little kaiju.
Cassette.
Continue. Calypso
can't.
wanted to listen.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy now. Hey, Ka, how's it going?
So
Alright.
cute. Hi,
Oh, she's
cassette.
adorable.
Do you have anything
Oh,
to add
no.
about
my God.
reboots or live action?
Yeah, can you say something real quick?
Yeah, and if you're watching,
Yeah.
subscribe
Not you.
for Calypso. Can you subscribe for Calypso?
Sub for Ka.
It's cassette.
Yeah. Anyways,
What was I
go
saying?
do whatever
Yeah,
you're doing.
so Godzilla was like a recognition of the nuclear age. He was always a monster. They sort of like started turning him into this anti-hero. And then we get to the current movies. And the Monsterverse, it's called,
Yeah.
is kind of just superhero films.
Mhm.
And there's a very great parallel for the modern day that we can see in Godzilla, and it's the reason I bring it up, is the difference between, you know, Godzilla Kong, Godzilla 2014, which was a great movie, these Godzilla movies, and Godzilla Minus One, or Shin Godzilla. I don't know what y'all know about those.
I'm familiar
Those movies,
with it.
astounding, right? And it shows like kind of the clear contrast and what we're kind of talking about with these remakes, remasters, or even just because you can kind of call these remasters for Godzilla. They're all the same property. They follow along the same kind of ideal, but they tell that story in different. Did Connor die?
No,
Did I
I'm
die?
here. No, you're fine.
No, we're
No, everybody just
listening.
went. Okay.
We're just listening. We're listening to your profound words of wisdom.
Yeah, no, I saw both of you literally like blur and then stop. And I was like,
That's
okay,
crazy.
Listeners
Anyways.
at home, if you can't tell, it's been a minute since we've done this.
No, what do you mean?
it's
I've been here the whole
hot
time.
It's fair.
I finally got out of the basement. Anyways, So you can see really the difference
that
between like
shit out.
-1,
Yes.
those Godzilla movies, in the way that they portray the same story, and that's something that's cool about remakes in particular, because you can call those remakes. They're the same
Yeah.
character, same story ish. That's something else about remakes that I think is kind of missed on a lot of modern day movies is the tone that the original piece tried to portray. I'm all for changing the tone a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Cove said earlier with the Disney movies, trying to be a little less racist. That's a good idea.
A little less abrasive, you know.
A little less
something.
abrasive. Let's not have 15-year-olds, What was the Sleeping Beauty? Yeah. Let's not do
Oh
that.
yeah.
Snow White being
or
canonically
Chinese-
14 in the
Chinese
original movie.
Cats
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
a
Like that.
piano with chopsticks.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Changing some of the tone, great. But I don't think if you're going to do a like remake like that, if you're going to change the tone, you need to at least still have respect for the source material, in my opinion. And I think that's what's really lost. I feel like some people.
And I think a
kinda
lot of
cheating
it
on that.
also, you can really tell the motive in these remakes, whether the motive is, I love the source material and I want to give you my interpretation, or if it's Bob Iger is looking down at me and he goes, my boy, go forth and create live action remakes. Like, you can really tell the
Money.
difference. Yeah, whether it is a greed based encouragement, because there are great remakes. Like, there's, I mean,
undeniably.
if you want to
Godzilla
go with
minus
something
one.
completely random, the DuckTales, the modern DuckTales show, weirdly good, actually.
Made a new one?
Surprisingly. I mean, it's old now. I think it ended. Look at Ninja Turtles. They've basically not had a bad piece of media.
2012 Ninja Turtles went crazy.
Nickelodeon, yes. Obviously the like live action one they did recently wasn't.
Okay, the
great.
live action one was really fun.
But it was
I liked
it was funny and it gave
was
us a
funny.
new version. And I think that's what's really cool is you can
They
do
all
that.
looked like the Hulk.
They did all look like the. We should
They
do a
did.
Ninja
I
Turtle. We
love
got to
it.
do a Ninja Turtles episode. That'd be really fun.
We do. We can argue the best Ninja Turtle.
Oh, that's easy.
That's not even a
Easy.
question.
That's easy.
What do you mean?
It's
Who's
Donnie.
The
It's
okay,
Donnie.
Who's the best one?
It's Michelangelo.
That's so wrong. That's so. You're both incorrect.
Wait, who do
What
you
do you
have?
think it is?
It better not be Raphael.
It is. I
You're such a
love
rap
rap.
person. Get out. Get out.
Also, wait, that just completely embodies
Why?
how each of us are. Like, that is such a great example of it.
I'm even wearing orange.
It's either Rap or Leo. Like they're the top two.
No.
That's wild, actually.
Leo's the second.
What do you?
Well, we'll come back to this at some point. I didn't know y'all also love Ninja Turtles because I love Ninja Turtles. My
I love
brother,
them.
my little brother, massive Ninja Turtle fan. And every time we talk about Ninja Turtles, you'll see in that video, there'll be the comment, "Woo!" You'll just see it in the comments. So I guarantee you, he'll leave a comment, and if he doesn't, I'm gonna beat him.
I don't think you could.
As you should.
I've seen your little
That's
brother.
true. He knows
I've
karate
seen
and
him,
like
but-
martial arts. He's dangerous. He's also a pilot. Anyways, yeah. So I think wrapping
yeah?
it up, coming back to it, reboots and remakes, they're cool, but they have to add something new to the pie, and not just
That cassette
just to see
hair, Connor.
the hair fly by. It was
Yeah,
Calypso's hair.
I
It
did.
went by. Horton Hears a Who type thing.
Was
But
that
yeah.
what that scream was?
Don't ask
Yeah,
about the
probably.
scream. Don't ask. You don't want to know legally.
Release them.
Not while I still breathe. There's
Put
still
you back
one
in the
dwarf
basement.
in Moria who breathes breath.
You're not a dwarf. Quit appropriating.
Got a beard.
Just because I can't grow one.
Yeah, you don't have one. Besides the point, I guess thank you all for watching. Do y'all have any final adding thoughts before we wrap it up?
Hamburger.
All right, well, Jay's embarrassed
He's gonna go
himself
get
and
himself
brought
some
shame
food.
to his whole entire family. Insert the clip from Mulan.
His entire legacy was brought great shame down.
It
by
was.
him
It's shame on
requesting
your
a
cow,
hamburger for his
shame on your
final
mother, your
years.
grandmother,